Welcome to Just Another Video Game Podcast. This is episode 3, not like that fake episode 3 that you're going to hear about later on. I'm joined by my friend, Bryan Auer.
Bryan Auer, yes, that's my name. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm good. It's been a long time.
I mean, it really hasn't, though.
Well...
I mean, I saw you in the future recently.
Yes, it's true you did. But, disregarding that, it has been a long time since we have been on a podcast together.
Yeah, it was back in those Machine Red days.
Yeah. Those were fun.
Yeah.
It was a giant clusterfuck of awful bandwidth and Shane and I chain smoking and
yeah.
Shane sitting outside and
sirens going off,
waving to his neighbors. I love you, Shane. I would never say anything bad about you.
Well, the reason I got you on here today, Bryan, is because you are a big fan of Nintendo.
I am that.
And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Nintendo and something else.
Oh, boy.
That I don't think that will probably, other than if this happens again, that we'll talk about, and that's Apple iPhones.
I have one.
I have one too, but it's not really something that I feel relevant to talk about. Definitely not something to make a podcast about.
No, we're not. I don't think we're real big Apple tech heads.
No.
I don't get excited about it. I usually once an Apple iPhone generation, I kind of get a little geeky about it and be like, okay, that's pretty cool, or this new feature, or this and that. With each iOS update, it's like, oh, I like that one thing about it, but it's never something I kind of get in a tizzy about.
But there is an exception, and that is with the most recent Apple keynote, where Shigeru Miyamoto came on stage and unveiled a new Mario game that's coming out to iPhone.
Did you like how they titled him when he walked out on stage? The screen behind him said Miyamoto and Shigeru Miyamoto, and underneath that his title was Creative Fellow.
Yeah, no, I first heard about that. They had a restructuring earlier this year where, after Iwata passed last year.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We definitely miss
man.
him. But there was a restructuring, and I remember reading about that and just being like, Creative Fellow.
So that is his actual title now?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was just Apple being cheeky, which surprised me because I didn't think they'd go that route, but I just thought it was cute, and it was like a nod of respect to someone. Oh, that's his actual title?
But you can easily picture that, though, right? Like
he's
the Creative Fellow. He just walks around Nintendo, looks at everything that everyone's making, and just
he
says,
goes,
like,
hey, when I was
that.
13, this happened to me. Do that. And they're like, oh my god, you're a genius. And he's like, I'll up into tea table and I'll leave.
But yeah, he was there to show off a new Mario game, Super Mario Run.
Yes, an acceptable name.
But the question is, why did it take us this long to get this game? I think that if anyone talked about, well, what would you do, like having Mario in a mobile game? You would do exactly this.
You would. It takes us this long because Nintendo wasn't making mobile games, for one thing, but the format of most things are like mobile games like this would be like an arcade game and an endless runner, and they want you to keep going until you die. And I don't think it never really occurred to anyone to make finite levels like that.
Well, there are games like that. There's the Rayman Jungle Run, which is a really good free-to-play runner. Okay. It's level-based. It isn't just single tap. There are moves that you can learn, but it's really simple and really fun. It plays a lot like the console. What was it, Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins? Great games, by the way. To what you were saying before, Nintendo in the past has said that they will not bring their IPs to mobile. Now, some people bring this up saying, oh, they said that they'd never bring it to mobile. This is the end. Times have changed. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just how it is. And for the longest time, I was against mobile games. I played them, but I was kind of embarrassed about it.
Yeah, I think when the iPhone first came out and Apple was like, we're going to put games on this. And everyone was like, that sounds like a good idea. And then we saw the first few years of those games, and we're like, it's not. No, that's for my mom can play that.
They were simple games. They were similar to like having Snake on your old Nokia phone.
Oh, which is great. I played the hell out of that.
Yeah,
It took a while for something uniquely iPhone or uniquely mobile to happen.
Right, you needed something that you really couldn't play on anything else.
And something that I wouldn't want to play on anything else, for that matter. I mean, can you think of what like the first real big mobile game was?
Well, I mean, personally, honestly, both questions I can't think of an answer to. There's just been so many since then. The game that really sold me on it, though, actually, even before that, before the smartphones, one of the games that really got me into playing video games on my phone was a Doom RPG. That it looked like Doom, like the classic Doom games, but you moved in a grid sort of pattern, and every move you made, the enemies would make a move
like
too.
Doom Go.
Yeah, it was almost like Doom Go. It was still a first-person perspective. It was super addictive. They did a Wolfenstein version of it too. I can't remember what they called it, but that was pre-smartphone. You had to use the keypad to move and everything, but it was a damn good game.
Well, I had to do something while Carmack's locked in a room making like ungodly engines.
Right. But I just remember that one. God, I wish they would re-release that for mobile.
That sounds actually pretty cool.
Games. It was amazing.
I think. I guess it's not uniquely mobile, but I do remember playing the absolute crap out of Cannibalt, which was an endless runner. Now I think about it, it was an endless runner. Maybe I don't hate endless runners as much as I think I do.
That's one of those things, though, is that when I first started playing these games on my phone, it wasn't like when I played a great game on a console or a dedicated handheld where I would tell people, this is a great game, you got to do it. It was just something that I didn't even think to talk to people about. And like even talking to you about it now, I don't think I ever brought up that Doom game or the Wolfenstein game. And maybe that's why no one talks about it now, is because that was an era where it was something that you did when you're sitting on the toilet, and and that's solely when you did it, or when
you paid $2.99 for it.
Yeah, you always paid that. You didn't get those games for free.
Yeah, back in the day, like everything was. I mean, it was cheap, but we figured out pretty quickly. Most companies figured out that you could not charge more than $3 if you wanted your game to sell on iPhone. I think, is that really where this stuff started to hit its stride? Was free to play?
I think that's what grabbed the larger market. I think that's what kept the people that don't play video games, that when you could get on your iPhone and you could download and play Candy Crush for free, and it was a super simple puzzle game that anyone could play, everyone suddenly became a gamer.
And then you would spend money on it.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even think about it. It was one of those things where it's like 99 cents, sure, I'll do it, then it's not a big deal. You know, that's not even a cup of coffee.
I find myself, I do play mobile games. I still play Pokemon. I was on Miitomo for a little while.
That was a real flash in the pan.
It really was. It was, I played it long enough through E3 to where I got all the cool Zelda gear.
Right.
And I don't think I played after that.
That was the same for me. As soon as I got that, I basically just stopped doing it. And I was into it because of the My Nintendo points. Mm-hmm. You get points playing it every single day. You can use those points to get games for Wii U and 3DS. Mm-hmm. And God, I've got like over 2,000 coins in my bank right now and nothing to spend it on.
Yeah, I just don't care anymore. My mom really, really got into it and would pester us every time we saw her to get on and answer her questions. Yeah, my big dark awful addiction though is Clash Royale. I hate myself very much, but on my days off I wake up before my fiance, usually a few hours before, and that's like my time to do my thing or get breakfast going or something like that. But I always envision myself sitting down with my controller and playing some Nintendo or Xbox or whatever, and I end up chain smoking on the front porch and playing an hour and a half of Clash Royale.
Yep.
Even if I don't have things to unlock, I still sit there and play it, and it's awful.
The game I'm addicted to, along with Pokemon Go, is a game called Tinker Island, which is just like a resource management game. It's really simple. It's 50% text-based adventure game, 50% resource management. It's a fun game, but
I like the sound of that.
It's a really good game. It's easy to get into. There's a weird mystery. It has a Lost vibe to it.
Okay.
But with Pokemon Go, it's like it was a huge deal. I'm doubtful that Super Mario Run would be able to capitalize on that. Mario is a huge icon. Mario was at the Olympics. You had Did you not see this?
No.
You know, at the end of the Olympics, whenever they're sort of passing along.
Yes, it was Japan's turn to do a little show.
And he did sort of a cosplay of Mario. The Japanese Prime Minister, I believe, was who was doing it. Everyone was just like, "Hey, it's Super Mario, it's Mario," and a lot of people know who that is. Whether or not they know that more than Pikachu, it's hard to say. I mean, Mario's been around longer.
That's true.
But I think that I definitely think that Super Mario Run is going to be a better game than Pokemon Go.
I do too.
As much as I love Pokemon Go, it's a bad game.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is. And you know what? That's the funny thing about it, was that everything I heard about, I was super stoked for it. I was ready for it to come out at whatever random time it was going to come out this year, because we didn't really know. It was funny how it just kind of dropped. But everything that I heard about it, I was like, that's disappointing. It's not going to be like, it doesn't have battle. Well, I mean, it has battles, but you don't train your Pokemon the same way. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh, this is disappointing. And then as soon as I could actually get onto the servers,
when I couldn't, I was addicted. I was addicted with logging into the servers. I just
wanted to play. Yeah, I was sitting there logging in over and over and over again. I can't explain the glee and joy that I didn't know I was going to feel as I watched that little bit of Super Mario Run. I am super excited.
It looks like a legit Mario game, like the 2D Mario games.
Does.
It looks just like them.
I just can't wait to destroy anybody that I play against, because I'm going to just... Okay, this is the weird thing about Mario. I'm a big Nintendo fan. I have played most of these games. I like to think that, like, Zelda, I love Zelda. Zelda is like, that's my favorite game franchise. I love Metroid. I love, and I like to say that I actually, like all these different games. Like, I'm this well-rounded gamer, and I like all sorts of different stuff. I always forget that Mario is probably my favorite game series ever. And I don't think about it because we always just take that simple genius of those games and the way that the physics work and the way that the levels are designed, and I take them so for granted that I don't even think about, I think I've played every actual Mario game and completely beaten almost all of them. That as I was sitting there yesterday, I think it was last night, I ended up watching some of that. I didn't even realize God damn it, Mario is my favorite game, isn't it? It means a lot to me. And just how much I take for granted, just the physics and the way that I can, I know how to pull off pretty much everything in those games without even thinking about it.
It's always been very much focused on skill. Mm-hmm. And there's a good balance of simplicity and depth that anyone who's new to it, you really only have to worry about movement and 2 buttons. That's really even in the Wii and Wii U ones, it never really got that complex. You threw in a 3rd button to do a spin move, but it was never really required.
No.
You could get through almost every level, but to find every little thing, you had to learn the timing, you had to learn the jumps, you had to learn the items.
And how to press those 3 buttons at the same time.
Right.
Sometimes. Still, I will never forget how to use the cape effectively from Mario World. It's just stuck in my head.
That was so hard when I was younger to figure that out.
And they didn't tell you how to do it.
No.
You just you just eventually figured it out.
Because you never really needed to do it except to get to the special levels.
Unless you wanted to just bypass, like, entire areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, I think it's interesting because you were talking about before about how you forgot about Mario. I think one of the reasons that he's been forgettable for gamers lately is when's the last time we had a revolutionary Mario game?
And we haven't. And
I would say it was Mario Galaxy 1.
It was. That's, in fact, exactly what it was. The 3D World games are really cool. I played the crap out of 3D Land, and I completely demolished that game. I found every star. I beat everything.
I couldn't beat the Mirror World or whatever it was.
That was really tough. Actually, I probably don't think I have beaten that.
Yeah. 100% the first world.
Yes.
Whatever
the first playthrough, the second Luigi playthrough is really tough.
Yeah.
But it's fun, and they're really fun games. It just doesn't feel like this turning the series on its side the way that this Galaxy did, or 64 did, or
Does Super Mario Run? It feels like it does, only because I feel like it's because it's on a platform that we didn't expect.
Yes.
And the idea that it's going to be one touch, it's as weird as it is, it feels like a new renaissance for it, but not in the way like anybody would be expecting.
I wasn't prepared to think of it in those terms, that is this the new Mario that we've been waiting for.
But because that's the thing, if we got a new Super Mario Brothers for 3DS or Wii U, or if they reveal the NX and they say new Super Mario Brothers NX, people would be upset.
I think I would. I would definitely play the game.
Yeah, no, same here. I still love those games, but at the same time, it's like,
come on, guys,
do something new. This isn't new, but it feels
You're
new.
Better than that. I'm not prepared to say that. I mean, because this feels like a new Super Mario Brothers game, just a one-handed new Super Mario Brothers game. So you can eat a burger and ride the subway.
Right. We'll have to play it to really know what's going on.
Yeah, and I am fully, like, I feel very confident that there are going to be all sorts of great little Nintendo-ish mechanics that they're going to throw in there, and it's going to be fun as hell and awesome. No. I had to mull that one over, but I don't think this will be the thing that we're looking for.
No.
Do you think they have that in them? Do you think there's anywhere they can go at this point? I mean, we've already taken them to space.
If you asked me before Galaxy, I would have said no.
Yeah, you're right.
I would have said, give me Super Mario 64 too.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known any better. It's just like what's the old saying where it's like you... before a car came around, you asked the farmer what they wanted. They said a faster horse.
Yeah,
and you don't know what you actually want, and it's still amazing that these creative minds at Nintendo come up with these things that blow us away. So, Super Mario Run. I keep wanting to say Runner. It's just
Super Mario Run just sound. It doesn't. It sounds
stop.
weird.
That's the problem. Is we're used to saying runner, and you actually have to stop.
It's like a very staccato, like, ending to that, which that's what staccato is. But
so what we know about the game is there will be, I believe, 3 different game modes. Mm-hmm. You'll have your standard level-based one, which no idea how many levels we're going to have. They didn't say anything about that.
They showed, what was it, 6 worlds?
6 worlds, I think, like...
And the little screenshot, they didn't show it. Everyone else went, screen grab, look, 6 worlds. So,
yeah. And there could easily be secret worlds.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything like any other 2D Mario that we've had, there's going to be secret worlds. Then there's a battle mode, which is the sort of multiplayer mode that they're going to have on there.
Where you impress the hell out of some toads, apparently.
Right. it's you're on a time limit as opposed to in a set level where you're trying to collect as many coins, make as many jumps, and just get as far as you can. Mm-hmm. And then that will be you'll compare your score with your friends, and with that you earn toads that will go towards your Mushroom Kingdom.
I thought So you get to keep those toads?
Yeah,
that you
it's
impress?
it's like you're almost betting against your friends, sort of thing.
Okay.
Where it's like we don't really know. This is just a taste of what it's supposed to be. But that's a whole other mechanic. I don't think it's really a big deal to go deep into that. But it leads into your mushroom kingdom that you're going to be able to customize, which
we
that
haven't
sounds
really
like
seen much of.
They're not talking about that at all.
Right,
They don't want to talk about that at all, which is smart. You want to focus on the core gameplay.
You hear the little hint of hope in my voice there. I was like, we haven't seen much of that. Please tell me otherwise and show me a big long post where I can go read and find out everything about it.
Honestly, I think that's something that they're not really going to talk about until the game is out. You have a different strategy when you're going in mobile. You don't want to show all your cards.
Right.
You want to show people this is what it is, and that way, as they're playing, they learn about it, and it keeps them going. It's like when you want the best games are ones that add new mechanics as you're playing, especially on mobile.
Yes.
When you go into a game thinking, "Oh, it's a simple game," and then you get sucked into it because of all these other mechanics that are in there. If you start a game knowing all these things that are going to be in there, you usually don't go very far. At least in my experience.
Sorry, I dropped my head because I'm Bryan and I'm a Clash Royale addict. Sorry, but yeah. Along
with this, now Nintendo made a partnership deal with DNA Games, which is a Japanese mobile publisher. There's a bunch of games that I don't know. If you look at them, they mostly look like card-based RPGs, like your typical sort of RPG that you find on mobile nowadays. But there's two that stand out. There's Final Fantasy Record Keeper, which I don't know if have you played that?
No, I haven't, but I forget, what is that again?
It's basically a super simplified version of Final Fantasy that plays in the Super Nintendo sprite form.
Okay.
That covers all of the Final Fantasy games.
Okay.
It's all right.
I remember hearing about it.
I played it pretty hardcore for about a month.
Okay.
The other one that stands out for me is Goddess. Do you know about Goddess?
No, I think I'm thinking of God Hand.
No, definitely not God Hand. Goddess is a game by Peter Molyneux, who was the guy that created Fable.
Peter Molyneux?
Molyneux. There you go. I don't know why. I've said his name many times before.
It's all right. His name is as crazy as he is.
But yeah, this was a game that was very hyped. That is what Peter does.
Yes.
And it's not a good game. It plays similar to the old black and white games.
Yes, right.
But it's just really bad.
Okay.
Peter Molyneux also created the old black and white games. So it's similar. It reminds me of that, but it's bad. So you look at those games, and even when you look at Miitomo and what will be Super Mario Run, it will show up under Nintendo. It won't show up under DNA.
Well, I think they just got someone to collaborate with who knows what they're doing in a mobile space. Whereas I don't think Nintendo needed that.
Right. But I bring it up because when they made this deal, they said that there were going to be 5 games. We have Miitomo. That was the very first game. Well, they said 5 games by the end of this year, which has now been delayed and it's been changed around to where now
they've recently walked that back a little bit.
Yeah, it's now 4 games by the end of March of next year.
Fiscal year.
Yeah, which is March of 2017. And we know that...
And if you'd asked me last week, of those 4 or 5 games, which we don't know what they all are, I was most excited about, I would have told you the Animal Crossing one.
Right.
And now there's a Mario game in the mix that nobody knew about.
Changes everything.
Yes, completely.
But yeah, so after this one, we do have 2 other games that we know about, and that will be an Animal Crossing mobile game and a Fire Emblem mobile game. Are you familiar with Fire Emblem?
Very interested to see how they pull both of those off.
Right.
Yes, Fire Emblem. The first one they brought over on the GBA, the first one they brought over here, I played a lot of, but I eventually stopped because I got sick of having to play the same mission over and over and over again because I refused to let anyone die. Because in promotional material, I saw 3 Pegasus chicks kicking complete ass all at the same time together, But my one Pegasus chick that I started out with kept dying every time, and so I just realized I was never going to get that perfect run through the game, and that I wanted so badly. So I just kind of eventually stopped playing it.
Yeah, I played a lot of Awakening. I bought it on a whim. That was the only Fire Emblem game I've ever played. I'd always been put off by the other ones. They just didn't look like a game for me.
Yeah.
Loved Awakening. Absolutely loved it. Had a similar thing where a few of my characters did die, but there would be times where as soon as I would see a character, his HP would hit 0, I would shut the game off and then turn it and then just reset it. Like, it would be immediate that I got in the habit of doing that, which I know that's not how the hardcore hardcore gamers play.
No, I like to imagine myself a hardcore player, but sometimes I am not.
You grow so attached to some of those characters.
Yes, it's true.
But I could easily see Fire Emblem on mobile, easily enough. Animal Crossing, I have a little bit of a harder time picturing it. There is one game that I'm always reminded of that is out on mobile. Very good game. Does remind me of Animal Crossing. It's called Seabeard. Have you ever heard of this one?
No, I have not.
Very fun game. Colorful game where you play as a pirate. And you have your own island.
His name is Seabeard.
Yeah. You have your own little island. You go and collect resources. And it's very similar to Animal Crossing. That I could see the game either being like something like that or Farmville. Okay. Those are the only two things that I could really picture it as. And honestly, I'm fine with either one.
But Animal Crossing is already a game that you only play for like an hour a day. I feel like it could fit very well into a mobile space as long as it's not just. And I know it will be I know it will have microtransactions all over.
I don't know about that. In Miitomo, it's really hard to spend money on, and they've said that with Super Mario Run that it's going to be a one-time purchase.
You can see even like the glee in his face when he's saying that.
Yeah,
like you see like how he's just like, you can see how like kind of annoyed he is by the kinds of mobile games that people just pay over and over and over again, and he would just kind of like, one time.
Yeah.
Like, tell him, Bill, just one time.
But then you have games like Square Enix's ports that they do of the Final Fantasy games. They charge $15 for those ones, and you only pay one time. You're getting 80-hour RPG, some of the best games ever created on there.
Yeah, and you might be getting it for the 4th time in your life if you're a big Final Fantasy fan.
Right.
And you want to buy every single thing the way I do with Zelda games, but yeah. Final Fantasy on mobile is still kind of a weird thing to me.
Yeah, I haven't jumped into any of those ones just because I don't have the time. Like
you can play too.
I say that. I say I don't have the time, yet I'm scared to see how much time I've put into Tinker Island. Yeah. Like I'm afraid to look at in hours to see how much time.
You can't do that, right?
I don't know a way, and I'm glad.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank God, because oh man.
So we're still left basically with, we'll still say 2 games, but let's just focus on one. What do you think the next, the mystery game?
Oh, the mystery over? 5th game?
Yeah. And how do you think that it would play? What would you need it to play like in order to play? In order to spend money? Because that's the thing, with free-to-play games, it's like, make any game, I'll try it, who cares? I'll let you think for a second.
Okay.
I mean, easy answer for me, Zelda.
Yeah,
how I want them to do it. There's plenty of games out there that have done. You can basically make a top-down Zelda on mobile with touch interface. It's easy enough. I mean, there were 2 DS games.
Click.
There were 2 DS games
that
true. You could play with touch only.
Played both of them.
And I could easily see them doing something like that. That's what I would want more than anything else.
See, I haven't even sat down to think about what. I mean, if I had.
That's the beauty of this. I put you on the spot.
If it had even dawned on me to consider what they're going to do with that 5th game, I may have an answer. A tilt-controlled F-Zero racer.
I could see that.
That's actually kind of what I would like. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be
fun. There's a lot of really good-looking...
Right?
Tell me you like my idea.
It would be really fun.
There's been plenty of really good-looking racing games on mobile that have super simplified tilt controls. I could easily see something like that.
Oh, no. And then dark, ominous clouds have begun to show up in my brain because I'm thinking of a multiplayer Mario Party game on phones.
Oh, my God.
How dark and amazing would that be?
That would be something incredible.
Well, okay, but it also would be bad because the last 2 Mario Party games have been awful. I don't know where you are with the series.
It's not a series I follow.
8 is the best one. I'm sorry for those of you listening who have really fond memories for any other one. 8 is the best one. It will always be the best one. It shakes everything up. The board, the goals on each board are different. The bonus stars are doled out in really weird ways, so you can't just rely on kicking ass in mini games and having the most coins at one time. It's a complete and total shakeup, and they're like, wow, we made the most perfect Mario Party game. Let's not make any for 4 years, and then make the worst Mario Party game ever. And then they made 10, and yeah. By the way, Mario Party 10 is the only game I have ever sold back. In my history of owning games, I don't sell games. If I have something, I keep it. And I took that back and I said, no, thank you.
The last Mario Party game I played was actually one of the most recent ones, though. It was the 3DS one.
I have not played any of the portable ones, any of them.
My wife and...
For no reason, really.
Our roommate at the time, we all had 3DSs, and we did you could do the... what do they call it? The share play, where you only need one cartridge and then you can transfer it over. So we were all able to play with one cartridge, and we had fun, but it didn't last very long.
So you didn't play it for like?
We played it for roughly less than a month. It was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Where we played about 2 times a week, and then we played all the games. That was the thing that killed it, and there weren't any of the games that... You didn't have like the classic N64 ones where you were like, oh my god, we're just going to play this one mini game over and over.
Yeah.
You had those games where you just wanted to focus on those ones. But you didn't... as fun as playing with the boards were, they had memorable mini games, and you haven't had that in a while.
I feel like ever since 1 and 2, I haven't had... a month is about as long as I can keep people around me engaged in those games.
Well, they make enemies out of friends. That's what those games do.
Yeah, especially when you were winning every game like I was. Yeah, no one wants to play after a while though. But that was like I have a good friend who we play old video games a lot together, and that was like the last new game that I got him to play hours of. I think that I can actually remember. I don't know. I might go with that. What if they just surprise the hell out of everybody and make a completely online phone Mario Party game? That would be ridiculous.
I'd be up for it. I think that'd be pretty fun. I'll finish it with one last question. How much are you willing to spend on Super Mario Run?
I was imagining it being like $5.
Yeah.
How much am I willing to spend on it?
I mean, it's
I'd
sort of
$10, but I'm expecting it to be no more than $10.
Right.
As we were saying earlier, people who make games for iPhone realized a long time ago that you can't charge too much for them because people won't buy them. That being said, it's Mario, and people will pay a lot of money for Mario, but I can't imagine it being more than $10.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it depends on how they're going to support it later on. Mm-hmm. Are we going to get level packs, and are we going to get charged for that? Mm-hmm. Later on, is there going to be extra DLC? I'm not opposed to that. I think that if you have a complete game for $10 to begin with, then after if we have, what did we say, 6 worlds? Is that what we looked at?
Yeah, at least that's what was shown on the little screen grab.
I mean, if we're looking at, if it's, let's say, 3 levels per world or something like that. I don't know.
4 maybe. Yeah.
4. Okay, say 4. So we'll say around 24 levels for that one, plus the multiplayer. If it's that good, I can see them charging $10 only if they're going to be offering some free stuff later.
Yeah. Because Mr. Miyamoto did say one time.
He did say one time with the finger up in the air.
I don't know, maybe 15, but I feel like that's pushing it. I don't know. I think they'll keep it. I think they'll keep it pretty low because people are going to buy this game.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty popular.
This game is going to sell.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big deal him coming out there for everybody. Like, you didn't know. You may not have known because they showed Mario first, right? Then they showed an image of Mario.
They showed like new Super Mario Brothers graphics of Super Mario Run, of course, running, and then of course all the Apple heads went nuts.
Right. It's a big deal
because Nintendo and Apple are kind of akin to one another.
I think they both are going for the same image.
Yeah, they're. I would once call Nintendo the Disney of Japan, but yeah, I feel like Nintendo and Apple are more alike these days. Their user base is dedicated. They will always make their own hardware. I feel like it will take something catastrophic for them to not make their own hardware.
Yeah, and for anyone out there that was saying Nintendo needs to go third party, that they're doomed, I think this just showed no, they're fine. This is going to be the kind of thing where they're going to make so much money off of this, we can have like 3 more failed systems.
And by the way, with the Wii U failing, like they weren't in dire straits. They have plenty of money. They're a very well run company. They're not going to go third party. It's just not that.
They kind of have.
They're not Sega.
They kind of have.
Well, okay, fine. But they're not Sega. They're not going to completely disband, get rid of, sell off their studios, stop making hardware, and become a completely different company. That's just not the way it is. They want to have their own proprietary format. They want to have their own. Even Miyamoto when he was being interviewed about Super Mario Run, someone even asked him about that. Like, you guys make your own games for your own hardware because you made the hardware that way. Like, you know how to utilize your own hardware. Is this kind of weird for you? And he's like, oh, yes. And, and he elaborated on that. But the point is that there are always going to be a Nintendo system somehow. I can't wait to see what the NX looks like. I can't wait to own one because as someone who has a 3DS and a Wii U, I don't play a lot of the game, like a lot of the RPGs that I would love to play on 3DS. I don't, just because I don't know why. And, I have a lot of the Wii U games, but I don't have all of them, and I don't play them because I don't know why. And having them all on one thing, which is what we think is going to happen, good God, I'm going to be playing that thing all the time now.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3DS games that I wish I could hook up to my TV.
Yes.
And there's a lot of Wii U games that I wish I could take with me on the go.
Yes. I can't even begin to describe, how excited I was getting. And I was like, I already know all of this. I know, we already kind of know that this is how it's going to go down. Why am I all of a sudden way more excited than I was a few minutes ago? It's because I just hadn't even considered that I'm going to just have all of those games in one place and I can play them wherever I want. And I mean, I love video games. I love all systems. I will play anything anyone gives me. But god damn it, I love Nintendo. They speak to a certain part of my childhood and my soul, and so.
Well, you and I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking about even anything, any other video game related thing. We wouldn't be here right now.
No.
Talking about this if it wasn't for Nintendo.
No, not at all. I would not. My life would not be the same if I hadn't played Nintendo games as a kid. I would be doing something completely different, and God knows what that is.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you once again, Brian, for coming on.
Oh.
Maybe we can have you on again sometime soon if there's a PlayStation meeting or something. Maybe if
I could probably squeeze about 45 minutes of talking out of that. I don't know.
All right, just in case. Yeah. Maybe if there's a PlayStation meeting or something like it.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on and talk about that.
Okay, that's cool. If Mark Cerny should just appear out of nowhere and talk about things for a while, I could probably talk about that.
I'd definitely be down for that.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. This has been Just Another Video Game Podcast. Not sure how you're listening to this, but we are currently on YouTube, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher. I'm working on iTunes still. Hopefully we can get on iTunes soon. Maybe we'll get on iTunes before Super Mario Run. Fingers crossed.
Okay. Crossing your fingers and playing Super Mario Run at the same time.
I can do it. I can cross one.
That's right.
I can cross
you can.
one hand. Okay, that's enough of that. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I was shaking my head at how amazing it is that we can cross our fingers and play Super Mario Run at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't remember what my Twitter stuff is. It's Luigi's Apartment. I can't remember if there's an underscore in there somewhere.
Well, I'll tag it somewhere on there.
Yeah, go find it, subscribe to it, and start sending me messages. And maybe I'll actually start uploading some of my streams and stuff.
We didn't mention that. If you haven't figured it out, the next episode, Brian's going to be on here again. You didn't mention that. You do some Twitch streaming?
No.
You're going to do some Twitch streaming.
I've been dicking around with it for a while now, but I can just never really get anyone to come over and
maybe I'll come over.
Want to sit down and play it. Like my best friend will, but I've edited a few videos together and I just never really put them up there, and they're all kind of old school games. We're really into NHL 94 for the Super Nintendo right now. A great, fantastic hockey game that only needs 2 buttons, really, to play. So, I've played some of the newer NHL games, and they're lots of fun, but hey, 4 buttons gets it done. So,
well, look out for that. We'll put some notes down there if anyone wants to follow it. If you have any questions for me and Just Another Video Game Podcast, you can contact us through Twitter at JustAnotherVGP. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next time.
All right, bye-bye.